This is another New Black World Order TV Productions. Chopper. How you doing today, sir?
Alhamdulillah, very.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
All right, so my name is King Shah, and I'm with New Black World Order TV, and I want to ask, since you're a Muslim, are you aware of the Muslims participating in the enslavement of Africans? And how do you feel about that? And are you willing to discuss why our people rejected the faith? And what was the consequences of them if they rejected that faith? Was that consequence being sent here, or was it death?
Yes, brother, I am aware that the African Americans that are still struggling with injustice have suffered greatly through an international, intercontinental phenomenon that has included many peoples.
The Abrahamic faith.
That's right.
They did it.
And that there's a reckoning that's necessary. We need to look into our own conscience and recognize the injustice that has been done to our brothers and sisters, and ensure that every vestige, every lingering trace of that injustice is eradicated, so that we can go forward together as true beloved sisters and brothers in deep respect.
Okay. So do you condemn what historically took place between the African and the Arabs? Do you condemn their behavior as haram? It was haram. It was haram. Do you condemn it?
I condemn.
Shukran. Thank you. Okay, so my next question is,
I condemn the horror of the dehumanization of human beings at whosever hands and whenever it has happened, whether it has happened at the hands of Muslims, at the hands of Christians, of any other people. I condemn that dehumanization and utter disregard for the sacredness of the human being.
so you get my point. We want other cops to stand up against bad cops. So all I'm asking is a good Muslim to stand up against those hypocrites. Because ultimately, for them to participate in the African slave trade, they would have had to be hypocrites. Could they have been believers?
To my conscience, I speak only for myself, to my conscience, belief in God means that you believe that the Creator has created every creature of God's own love, and loves and cherishes every creature, and that due to every creature is fundamental respect.
Okay.
And
So
freedom.
it wasn't respect to enslave us, right? So the question becomes, were they justified in enslaving anybody? Is there any surahs or ayats that they could have pulled from to justify their behavior?
I cannot speak as a.
No, Matt, you read the Quran, right? There's 114 surahs there, right? Did you read it? Iqra. Did you read Quran? Iqra, right? So if you read Quran,
When I
is
read
there
the Quran,
any
I'll tell you,
surahs
yes.
or ayats that they could have used to justify what they did? Because the Christians that were standing up here, their ancestors used the Bible to justify enslaving us. So I'm asking you, is there any surah or any Quranic verse that those hypocrites use to justify enslaving humans?
No, to me, the Quran from the beginning
To your right hand possession? When you go to war,
to the end.
you possess things in your right hand, right? Or is it in your left hand? You get what I'm saying? So if I go to war with a people, I'm talking right now. If I go to war with a people in Islam and they refuse, right? And we take them captive, right? I should ask them to accept Islam, right? This is the history of Muslims. That's what they did to us.
Do you think people will find anything to back up their hatred and anything.
They will.
You can look to scientists, you can look to religion.
But you can
look
see,
to leaders,
but see how readily
and
you
people
admit
find
that?
it
No, listen what I'm
anywhere.
saying. You see how readily you admit that?
Yeah.
Some of these people are not ready to admit that. We could have moved on.
Yeah.
We could have moved on from the conversation. Ma'am,
today
get
is-
away from me.
I think today.
Ma'am,
what,
get away from me. I
what-
got it. Get away from
What
me.
I came for today and
The
what
fuck
I
on.
what I came for today and what I heard from a lot of people is a beginning place for clergy to come together.
Facts.
They have some actionable steps that they're trying to take.
But do you get you get my point?
I think
so
I do get the
so
point that
my
you're trying to
point
make.
was this. They
And you
want
wanna
about
hear
this
people
camaraderie.
speaking it
They
clearly?
wasn't about this camaraderie 400 years ago.
No.
So they use division and they use verses to justify enslaving us, right? And if nobody came to terms with that today, then it's just like the cops ignoring what I've been talking about for years.
What would you have liked to hear? Like, what would have been impactful for you to hear?
Would have been
today?
impactful to hear was to go over there and get those brothers over there, see over there across the street over there, that was tear gas, shot with fucking bullets, and let them talk.
So
Because
did you hear the person who said that?
no,
they
I'm
were
talking
tear
about the
gas?
people that was,
Yeah.
I'm talking about, listen, I was out here
Yeah.
all night long,
Yeah.
see what I'm saying, putting in that fucking work, right? So I don't need nobody to come behind me that ain't did no goddamn work. See, they want to ride on my work and they want to ride on my death. Then, yesterday, I look at a video on Al Jazeera. They got these Black Lives Matter women up there talking about, we ain't say the names of the women. Well, they must ain't been on our Facebook pages. They must have, we've been doing this shit for years. We talked about black women way back in Al Sharpton days. We talked about black women at the Million Man March.